Hey YouTube, it is fall, it's the end of the gardening season, and it is time to make tomato soup with the last, I don't know if you can see over here, the last of the tomatoes that I just brought in from the garden, and we are done in the garden. But if you love a good winter day lunch of tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese, please, please, please don't buy that stuff at the store. You know the one I mean, where you add water and don't do that. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make, and it is so good. It is so good. I have some onions from the garden. We are going to be sauteing in some olive oil. We're going to be adding probably 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. This is going to be a big batch because I'll probably end up canning it. You can water bath can this, which is a different topic we'll talk about at the end. I'm going to get these in a saute pan and start chopping 5 to 7 pounds of tomatoes in just roughly chopped. We're not skinning them or doing anything special. We're just gonna core them, chop them, and throw them in a pan and get them warming up, because we're going to be passing all of this through a food mill, so we're going to cook those down first. So I'm going to add a big drizzle of olive oil to my big cast iron. Get that warming up over kind of a medium to medium high heat, and you can do this many ways. I'm going to do it with just sliced onion that I'm going to saute till it's pretty caramelized and soft, just to get some of that sort of extra layer of flavor. But if you don't like onion, and I don't, often I will do this with onion powder just for the flavor, or I have actually done this with freeze-dried onion. So there's several ways to do this to get the onion flavor in the soup. And I'm going to be running this all through a food mill, which is the only reason why I'm doing whole onion like this, because I don't know why. I never outgrew the things that you don't like when you're a kid. I don't like eggplant, onion, mushroom, olives, peppers, celery, all the things I didn't like when I was little, and everyone said, oh, you'll like them when you're grown up, and I still do not. I can't stand onion, but I love the flavor. So I'm going to get these sauteing, and I don't know if I'll do both. It's kind of an eyeball it thing. I'll put the ingredients list down in the description, and to find out how to make the soup, you'll have to watch the whole video, obviously. But the list of what's in this soup is going to be in the description, so you can make notes as far as quantities and whatnot. So this was an onion and a half. I'm going to just probably use only that much. But again, if you like a lot of onion, you can up any of the things in this. We're going to just give you the base recipe, but this is the one I found that just makes the soup so, so good. Let's get these in the saute. Those look beautiful, and then I'm going to let those cook down for a bit before I add the garlic, because I don't want my garlic to get too brown in the mix. While those are sauteing, I'll get the garlic pressed through the oldest Pampered Chef garlic press in the world. I don't think they make things like they used to. Just chime in the comments if you agree with that. Just type old school if you believe that. Nothing is made the way they used to make it. Nothing that I have stuff in this house that's like original. I have original light bulbs in this house that are 26 years old, and they're still burning. And yet, once you replace them, you'll be replacing them every 6 months for the rest of your life. So tell me that's not a conspiracy. Okay, I think I'm going to go for all 4 of these. And again, garlic is subjective, so if you like a lot of garlic or you don't like garlic at all, you can do whatever you want with this. And I will probably add more garlic later on in the flavor testing phase when we're cooking this down. So it is nice because it's kind of a very adaptable recipe, but this will give you a really good base. And as that's just starting to brown up a little, we're going to go ahead and add the garlic, because I don't want the garlic to burn in there in the hot oil. So just give that a little bit of time with the garlic and the onions. Then we'll turn the heat off with this mix and add it to the tomatoes. Okay, while those are cooking a little bit, we are going to take the last of the tomatoes. Look how gorgeous those are. I just kind of roughly chop them up into, I don't know, 1-inch-ish pieces, but again, it's very much not a specific science. And I should also say, I need a new one of these, but I love this. You can see it's a cutting board on top of my wooden cutting board. This has a little, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little rim around the edge that catches any running juices. If you're carving meat, or if you're doing veg like this that are juicy, This way you don't end up with the juice running off the wooden cutting board onto your floor. So every once in a while you can just pull this whole cutting board over to the sink, rinse it off, and start fresh. So for tomatoes and juicy things like this, I definitely use this other cutting board. And any of the little bits that you don't want to save that have a bruise or a mark or whatever, they go in a bowl and they will go out. See, like that little edge? I don't want that. I'm just going to take that out to the chickens, who will thank me for it. So, circle of life kind of thing. And this is literally the last tomatoes. We had some really hard frost here in the last week, so I've pulled in everything. I emptied the tomatoes out of the garden and all the debris has been removed. And this is the last of the tomatoes. And you can see these are just rough chopped, like big, you know, not diced, not special sizes. We're just wanting to have a uniform size so we can cook them down. And any of my small tomatoes, like cherry tomato, I had too many of these. I just cut those in half and put them right in the mix. This is basically the start of all of my tomato things that I've made. Even when I make chili or minestrone with kind of tomato-based soups, this is how I'll start. I just chunk up the tomatoes and put them in a pot and start cooking them down. Then we're gonna add all the flavorings, and then we're gonna cook everything down until it's nice and thick. And what's nice about tomato soup is you can cook it down to whatever you think is the right, you know, if you like a thinner soup or a thicker soup, you just keep cooking it down. We've got almost 2 quarts of chopped tomatoes, and I'm going to just put those in this nice big stock pot, and I'm going to probably add another. So there is a second really hefty 2 quarts. So we've got definitely about 4.5 quarts of tomatoes chopped going in the pot, and I'm going to go ahead and add our sauteed onion that has cooled down while we were chopping everything. We're just going to add that right to the top with the garlic and a little bit of the oil, like that. And I'm going to add in salt. I'm going to start light on salt, but we are going to add probably 2 teaspoons of salt now. We can add more later as you know, get closer to the end. You can taste test everything. Pepper. Again, we're just starting with some pepper, and we'll add some closer to the end for flavor. Dried basil, just eyeball it, but that's about a small handful. That's probably 2 tablespoons of dried basil. And I like to use a sprig of fresh oregano, but I don't have it. I do have dried, so we're doing that, which is, again, a handful. Probably 1.5 tablespoons. And on top of all of this, we're going to put in 2 quarts of chicken stock. So I cheated and used store-bought broth. But if you have it canned or frozen, this would be the place to use it. We're going to add all of that right to there. Give it a stir to combine it a bit. This pot's a little bit shallow for this, and I'm going to put that over a fairly medium-high heat. So I want to bring this to a boil. And what we're going to do now is cook this all together, bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to simmer it down for probably 20 to 30 minutes until these tomatoes are soft enough to pass through a food mill. So this beautiful mix has been, we brought it to a boil and I turned it down. It's been simmering for about 30 minutes, and this looks lovely. If you like a chunky tomato soup, you could just cook this down. But I want it smooth because we all grew up with that gorgeous smooth tomato soup that we used to get out of the Campbell's can, which we won't talk about here. So I'm going to run this mix into a new pot through the food mill. And if you don't have a food mill, please go get one right now. I have a link in the description for one similar to this. This one I've had for decades, so you can't find this exact one, I don't think, but check the link below and you can get yourself one of these. So we've got this run through the food mill and into a second clean pot, and I've got this over medium heat. And what you want to do right now, stop what you're doing and go wash your food mill, because if you let tomato seeds dry in that food mill, I think you could use tomato seeds as like mortar for bricks. I think that's what they used to build the pyramids. Dried tomato seeds, you don't want to see that in your food mill. So go do that first, come back, and we're going to add, I eyeball everything. I'm going to add about a good hefty teaspoon of salt in there. We're going to crack some more pepper. And again, this is to taste, so do what works for you. But keep in mind, we are going to be cooking this way down. This is really thin. So we're going to be reducing this by probably half, so you don't want to oversalt right now. I am going to add in like probably 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. So we did the fresh sauteed garlic, now we're doing garlic powder. We are going to add in another handful of dried basil, because I love, love, love a lot of basil. If you have fresh basil, definitely use it. So right here, we're just kind of upping the flavor bouquet a little bit. And I'm going to bring this up to just at a simmer, not really a boil, but I want it to be just starting to bubble. And this will sit for a long, long time because I want this to cook down and reduce and just condense all of those flavors together. So come back and stir it every now and then and just let it simmer down, and you can see where it started right here at that line. When we're done, we'll see where we ended up. And after most of the day simmering down, you can see where we started. So the line has dropped down probably 1.5 inches maybe, and it's starting to look like it's almost as thick as I want. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. And this is the point where you'll start taste testing and add any more. Usually I will probably add a little more basil here. I'll test for salt and pepper. I may add a little bit more garlic, but this is just where you can add it to taste. And this is where you can start seeing if it's thick enough for you or you want it a little bit thicker. So I am going to cook this down a bit longer. You can easily can this into jars like this as well. All you do is add a tablespoon of lemon juice to the jar, fill it to within 1/2 inch to the top, and put on lids and caps, and then boiling water bath these for the correct amount of time for your altitude, which for me was 40 minutes. And I have gorgeous soup ready to put in the pantry. And you'll have something that looks like this when you're done. And I know it's store-bought. I do have homemade Parmesan, but I'm going to just use some Kraft because we have it. I like to douse it pretty heavy with a swirl of cheese, stir that in, and this is one of my favorite like winter lunches. Oh my goodness. Make a grilled cheese and try this. It's so good. It's so good. Try this soup. If you love tomato soup, try this and you will never buy store-bought tomato soup again as long as you live. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.